Have you ever wondered why some beliefs can completely transform a person's life, while others just fall flat? Why can a single experience feel more real and more powerful than any logical argument? The brilliant philosopher and psychologist William James tackled these exact questions over a century ago in his masterpiece, The Varieties of Religious Experience. His approach was revolutionary. He said, let's stop arguing about doctrines and dogmas. Instead, let's look at real people and their lived experiences. Let's study religion not as a set of rules but as a force that operates in actual human lives. His method was simple yet radical. Collect stories, describe them honestly, and judge a belief by its fruits, its real-world impact on a person's character, their actions, and their sense of peace. James starts by looking at temperament. He noticed that people generally fall into two camps. First, there are the healthy minds. These are the optimists, the ones who naturally focus on the good, feel a sense of buoyancy and gravitate toward gratitude and hope. Then, there are the sick souls. These individuals feel the weight of the world more acutely, the guilt, the failure, the brokenness of things. James doesn't say one is better than the other. They're just different, equally human ways of responding to the complexities of life. For him, a religious journey often begins right where our natural temperament meets a moment of crisis. This leads us to the idea of conversion. James saw conversion as a profound reorganization of the self around a new center of energy. It's like all your scattered thoughts, desires, and motives suddenly snap into alignment. Sometimes this happens in a flash, like a light switching on in a dark room. Other times it's a slow, gradual process, like a path slowly becoming clearer as you walk it. The psychological effect is powerful. This recentering process reduces inner conflict, calms anxiety, and unlocks a new kind of energy and determination. Again, James tells us not to get bogged down in a debate about what really happened. Instead, look at the before and after. Is the person less fearful and more courageous? Less isolated and more loving? Less fragmented and more whole? That, he argues, is the evidence that truly matters. From there, James explores what he calls saintliness. He's not talking about perfect, flawless people. He's looking at lives that seem to overflow with certain qualities: a deep sense of charity, a purity of intention, genuine humility, and an almost heroic ability to persevere through hardship. He's a scientist, so he's not naive about it. He notes the potential for extremism and self-delusion, but he insists that we have to weigh the net effects. Do these lives actually reduce suffering in the world? Do they inspire others to act with more integrity and kindness? If the answer is yes, then these lives, and the beliefs that fuel them, command our respect, regardless of what we think of their specific theological theories. Then, James dives into the mysterious realm of mysticism, those intense, personal moments of insight that people describe as a feeling of union, of profound presence, or of being illuminated by a truth beyond words. He identifies 4 key markers of these experiences. First, they are ineffable. They're incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to describe in language. Second, they have a noetic quality. They feel like states of knowledge, like you've been given a direct insight into reality. Third, they are transient. They don't last forever. And fourth, they feel passive. You feel as if you are being grasped or acted upon by a higher power, rather than creating the experience yourself. James doesn't try to prove or disprove them. His rule remains consistent: test them by their fruits. If a mystical insight leaves you a kinder, braver, and more stable person, then it has a legitimate claim on your attention. The core idea holding all of this together is pragmatism. For James, the truth of a belief reveals itself in how it works in your life. What is its cash value in your actual experience? This doesn't mean anything goes or that truth is totally relative. It means that for the big questions of life, the ones that logic and science who unfully answered, it can be perfectly rational to make a choice, to commit to a path, and then to see if it works. It's about taking a leap of faith, not as a blind jump, but as a deliberate experiment in living. As he famously argued, when you're faced with a choice that is live, forced, and momentous, waiting for perfect proof can mean losing out on the very thing you're seeking. Sometimes, action is the only way to find clarity. So, how can we apply these powerful ideas from a century-old book to our lives today? First, and most importantly, judge by fruits. When you're thinking about a new habit, belief, or practice, whether it's meditation, prayer, journaling, or volunteering, don't just analyze it intellectually. Try it, and ask yourself, after a month of doing this, am I a more patient, honest, and helpful person? Am I less afraid? You could even keep a fruits journal, just one line each night to note a moment of courage, clarity, or compassion that you showed, or one that you missed. This makes the effects tangible. Second, respect that there are many different paths. James was a great champion of pluralism. He knew that what works wonders for one person might do nothing for another. So, instead of getting stuck on a single ideology, think like a scientist of your own life. Run experiments. Try a new practice for 2 weeks. Measure the results in your mood and behavior, and keep what actually works for you. Third, use moments of crisis as opportunities for recentering. In James's view, conversion is simply a reordering of your priorities. You can create a mini conversion for yourself. Pick one value you want to live by, like courage, or kindness, or discipline. Then, attach one small, daily action to it. And repeat that action for 30 days. Our identity is shaped by our repeated actions. You can literally build a new version of yourself, one small choice at a time. Fourth, let action support your belief. For those really big questions where the evidence is uncertain but the stakes are high, you are justified in making a commitment and then verifying it by how you live. Sometimes, you just have to start walking the path to see where it leads. Action has a way of clarifying things when thinking alone just leaves you going in circles. In the end, William James offers us a path that is both incredibly generous and incredibly demanding. It's generous because it honors all kinds of human experiences, especially those that don't fit into neat, logical boxes. But it's demanding because it asks us to prove our beliefs not with words, but with our conduct, to show their power through our patience, our courage, and our love for others. You don't need to have all the answers to start. Begin with the fruits you can actually see and measure in your life. Fewer harsh words, more honest work, a steadier hand to help those around you. Let the practices that deliver these results become your daily rituals, and let those rituals, day by day, reshape who you are becoming. In the spirit of William James, test your way into a more meaningful life. Keep what makes you a better, more complete human being, and have the courage to discard what doesn't. That is how a belief truly earns its right to stay. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more ideas that can help us live better lives. See you in the next one.